up, my 1111 YouTube friends? Hanging out in the shop with Tim, Duct Tape Mike, and Trenton. We're going to throw a water pump on Project Freebie over here. First, we're going to crack some gashes. Oh, I can't do it one-handed. Snapping the gashes open and slurping on them. Yum, yum, yum. It's that time of the day to have one. And it's that point of the project to have one. First, we're going to talk to Tim. Tim's taken on the project of rebuilding the water pumps on the Ultra base engines, the XCR 800 base engines, the XCR 700 engines. He's taken on the XCR 600s. So the Ultra base engines. So he's taken on the project of rebuilding these pumps. Do you own a triple, Tim?
Nope.
This is the kind of guy you want in the snowmobile groups. Is the guy that will take on building something for everybody that doesn't even own a snowmobile that these things go on. So Tim took it on. He's a machinist by trade. He's meticulous about all the work that he does, and his pumps turn out phenomenal. We're going to take a look at his pump. They just brought over for Freebie. Now we're going to stick on Freebie here. And Tim's going to explain a little bit about what I don't know nothing about these pumps. So he's going to be the better guy to actually talk about the pump.
So first thing I do is I use Timken bearings in everything because they're a better bearing, better quality bearing. Not the best, not the most expensive, but they're still a quality bearing. And then I use OEM mechanical seals in there. Still able to find them. They're not cheap, but they're worth the extra money because everything goes back together properly. And then I do stainless hardware all the way around and blast the covers, blast the cases, make sure there's no rust or anything on the back side of the impeller, and clean the shaft off, new O-rings. And Todd has a case that's available open. If the gear's a little bit chewed up, we can check the engagement of the gear.
Yep.
And verify that, hey, their gears aren't available anymore, so we might be able to still use it if you need to.
Yep, exactly. And he goes through, there's the shaft in here that the bearings run on is prone for rusting up and stuff. He goes through, he gets all that rust off there, he gets all the grits and everything out of every nook and cranny. I've seen his cases when they're open after he's going to reassemble, and they are absolutely top notch inside. And so if anybody's looking for a pump, look up Tim on Facebook, and he's actually got an email address too that you can get a hold of him. He can give the email address right now, and then I'll actually I'll paste his email onto my video, so you can just click on that to get a hold of him by email, or otherwise you can find him on Facebook in most of the triple groups.
And the email is tim.precisionpumps.gmail.com.
Yep. Tim's.precisionpumps
@gmail.com.
Exactly. So I'll post that email onto the video. So we're gonna get this on to Freebie. These guys are installed. I'm gonna go over and talk about the crank. I just built this engine this morning, and I'm gonna explain why I had to build a second engine for Freebie here. And these guys can work on that. I'll step over to the bench. I'm gonna show you why, and everything should be sitting right there, guys. The tools, the nuts, and the bolts. You got them. Okay, so everything's right there to be able to throw that pump on. So the guys are going to throw the pump on, the exhaust on. Let me explain what I tried to do and what you can't do then. So, right in here, I tried to take a 96 Ultra crankshaft and run it in a 97 Ultra case. And if you can see right here, see how the crank does not sit to the case tight? So this right here was where the seal sat on the 96 crank that seals it in the 96 case. 97, they made this embossment here bigger, so it actually touched the case here to make a seal. So I thought, well, what's the difference? There's just a little bit there. Is it really going to matter? Well, what it matters is you lose your pulse signal from your mag side cylinder. It cancels out from the center cylinder because you're leaking compression, not compression, but your vacuum is leaking through the bearing around this point, around that point, through that bearing, and it's leaking over to the center cylinder. The only reason we found this out is I got Freebie together and it actually ran. And it ran okay, but I never was able to run it on a track stand, and never even ran it around at all. We just had it idle a few times. And what I believe is it idled enough it was getting enough pulse signal, or enough pulse draw on the fuel pump because I used a massive amount of oil in that engine when I assembled it. And I think that oil actually kind of sealed it up a little bit. But now that oil's all been burnt off, it no longer would draw fuel, and if you put your hand over the carbs on the mag and on the center, there was no suction at all. And me and Mike scratched our head on this one, and he was dealing with sprinkles at the same time. He had no fuel draw on sprinkles, and
No sucky.
no sucky. And your issues was different than mine,
Yeah.
but we even hooked a vacuum gauge onto the pulse line, and it wasn't drawing any vacuum at all. And it's like, it's got to be this crank to case fit. It's, you know, so I had another NOS crank that I really didn't want to burn up on this thing, but really for this sled, it's probably good to have a really well-built engine in it because it's going to be a two-person sled. It's going to be kind of our tow rig if we got any other issues with sleds and stuff. So threw another NOS crank into it. Tom Gara, thanks again. I bought a couple of them from him. So now we're going to get this water pump on, get the exhaust on. We're going to fire it up. And here, this trash can that's on there, and I got a windshield bag I'm gonna stick on that I've gotten from Clayton Foster. He's starting to make these bags. I actually sent them one out. Mike was gonna, but the bag you had,
I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
It was brand new with the Chopper City
embroidery on it.
embroidered in it, and
Yep.
I couldn't let him take it apart.
Yep, and that's what was going to happen. Was Clayton had to take the bag apart, and and it wasn't going to be salvageable once he took it apart.
Yeah.
So I actually had a bag on Rose, and it was a perfect candidate for this deal. So I sent them out a bag. They made a pattern off of it, and then I actually bought a couple bags, and then he set me up a little bit with a couple bags out of the deal. So I'm going to throw one of the bags here on Freebie, but they're awesome looking. And windshield bags, I wasn't into them years ago, but now,
I've always loved them.
yeah, bottles
Where
of
they at?
water,
See 'em.
or they're sitting over here. Yeah, shit, let's check them out.
I haven't seen yet.
Yeah, I got 4 of them
Yeah, you said you got.
right there. There's the blue one. So it's his wife or girlfriend's name on here, right here.
That's who makes them.
Yeah. Oh no, her name isn't on there.
No.
Oh, I got her name on the box here. Jessica Hudson is her name. She makes them. Clayton is her boyfriend or husband. I'm not sure what the relationship is. Sorry, Clayton, that I don't know what's your relationship. But I'm going to put both of their names in the video here to get a hold of them. But these things are just absolutely beautiful.
Nice.
Well built, easy to install. Your windshield pins hold it in place. So we'll get that on here in a few minutes after we get this thing fired up.
Sweet.
All right, we got the pump all back on. I had to set the camera down and show these guys how to put bolts in the hole. So no, they just needed a hand. But we're gonna get this windshield bag on, and then we're gonna fire the old girl up here.
Yeah.
Pretty easy install. Remove your couple windshield pins, 2 windshield pins, slide it in. And that is a windshield bag installed on an aggressive chassis sled. So get a hold of Jessica Hudson or Clayton Foster on Facebook. They are out of New York. And otherwise, like I said, I'll put their information in the video here so you can just get a hold of them that way. So at this point in time, I would tell Trenton, give it an old Yankee. But I think right now, let's just say, let's twist the key.
It's an easy one.
Yeah, let's
today.
twist the key and let's hear it.
Really hard.
Yeah. Sounds amazing. Love it. Fresh engine, just built it this morning. Put a new Tim's precision pump on it. Duct tape Mike helped out as usual, and Trenton, the official starter guy. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you later.
Cheers.